Welcome back to Real Life Recaps. Please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Hello everyone, and thank you for watching my videos. Today's first story was posted by Potential Board 3015. Am I the a-hole for refusing to help my foster parents after they treated me like a servant? I 32. Female grew up in foster care, and after bouncing between homes, I ended up with a couple when I was about 12. At first, they seemed all right, but it didn't take long for me to realize that I wasn't really part of the family. From the day I moved in, I was treated more like a live-in maid than a daughter. They'd make me do all the cleaning, cooking, laundry, you name it. I was the one who scrubbed the floors, cooked their dinners, washed their clothes, even had to iron them to their standards. They didn't even let me have a normal childhood. No after-school activities, no hanging out with friends, and forget dating. I was always told, "You're needed at home," like I was just there to serve them. If I didn't do a good enough job or if I missed something, they'd punish me by giving me more chores, or they'd sometimes take food away. Emotionally, they were just cold. They never gave me advice, never helped me with school, and certainly never encouraged me to do better. When I wanted to apply for college, I had to figure it all out on my own. They didn't even help me with applications or support me in any way. I always felt alone in that house, but I worked my butt off to get out. I managed to go to college, get a good job in marketing, and now I'm doing really well for myself. I've moved on and tried to put it all behind me. A few weeks ago, though, I got a call from my old foster parents. They're struggling now, apparently in debt, and they said they need financial help. They expect me to take care of them because they raised me. I was furious. I told them after the way they treated me, they have no right to ask for anything. I owe them nothing. They got super upset, calling me ungrateful, selfish, and saying that all the tough love they gave me made me who I am today. They're even telling my foster siblings, who they treated way better, by the way, that I'm heartless for abandoning them. And now my foster siblings are piling on, saying I should help them out and that I'm holding on to the past too much. I don't know. I don't think I owe them anything, but maybe I'm being too harsh. Am I the a-hole? And now for the comments. Comment 1. Sounds like they're still treating you like a servant, just asking for a different kind of help. You're not obligated to give anything, OP. OP replied, "Thank you, they still think I'm their servant, but they are wrong." Comment 2. Tell your foster siblings that if they feel so strongly, then they can take care of them. You're right. You owe those people nothing at all, especially after how they treated you. They will never be your responsibility to care for. Comment 3. Other people are always very generous with your money. There are more of them, so it would be easier for them to help. Comment 4. I agree. That's the only money they'll be getting from you. While they contributed to who you are today, it wasn't through raising you as their own, but rather through the negative experiences you had with them. You're not being harsh, you don't owe them anything, and you're not ungrateful. They don't deserve what you've achieved. Suggest that your foster siblings assist them if they feel compelled, but you should maintain no contact. You're not at fault here. Today's second story was posted by Hungry Sky 3185. Am I the a-hole for freaking out? Over my wife's not serious cheating excuse? So I 31. Male have been married to my wife 30, let's call her Jess, for 3 years. Everything was pretty normal until recently, when I caught her in a lie that made me question everything. Jess has been super secretive with her phone lately, always taking it to the bathroom, sleeping with it under her pillow, you know the drill. I confronted her, and she said it was just work stuff, but her tone was off. I found a hotel receipt in her purse. When I asked, she said it was for a work retreat. But then, I saw a text from a guy on her phone saying something like, "Can't wait for next time." When I asked about it, she got defensive, saying it was just a friend and nothing happened. She admitted to meeting up with this guy, but said it was not serious. Like, she actually used those words. She claimed they just talked, but come on. Who books a hotel room just to chat? I lost it. I called her out for being so dumb to think I'd believe that. I mean, not serious? Really? I'm questioning if I even know this woman. Now, here's where I might be the AH. I yelled at her, like, really yelled. Said some stuff I probably shouldn't have, like calling her a liar and saying I was stupid for marrying someone so naive or deceitful. I told her family. In the heat of the moment, I called her sister and spilled everything. Jess was mortified, and now her family's involved. I'm thinking about divorce. I love her, but this whole not serious excuse has me doubting everything. Jess says I'm the a-hole and overreacting. She insists it was just a conversation, nothing more, and that I'm blowing this out of proportion. So, Reddit. Am I the a-hole for yelling and saying harsh things in the heat of the moment, involving her family and considering divorce over what she claims was not serious? And now for the comments. Comment 1. I have a friend that books conversations at hotel rooms for $300 an hour. Comment 2. They could have been playing Scrabble in that room. Comment 3. Maybe they were reading the complimentary Bible. And now to the update. I wanted to give an update since a lot has happened, and honestly, I'm feeling pretty lost. If you haven't seen my original post, here's the quick rundown. I, 31NEM, found out my wife, Jess, 30F, had been hiding some things from me. A hotel receipt, secretive texts, and some really sketchy behavior around her phone. When I confronted her, she admitted to meeting up with another guy, but she kept downplaying it, saying it was not serious. She swore it was just talking, but I found that hard to believe, especially given the hotel receipt. Who meets up in a hotel just to talk? That phrase, not serious, kept replaying in my head. She seemed so casual about it, like it was no big deal. But to me, it was everything. My wife meeting another guy in secret wasn't something I could brush off. I felt like my entire world was flipped upside down. When we had that first confrontation, I lost control. I yelled, I said things I regret. I was hurt, and I lashed out. But worse than that, in a moment of anger, I called her sister and told her everything. It wasn't planned. I just couldn't handle the weight of it all. Jess was furious, understandably so, but at the time, I thought she deserved the shame, to be held accountable by someone other than me. Since that night, things have been tense, to say the least. Jess hasn't denied meeting the guy, but insists it was nothing beyond an emotional connection, and she keeps saying that I'm blowing this out of proportion. But how am I supposed to feel when the person I trusted most in the world is having secret meetups? Whether or not it got physical doesn't change the fact that she betrayed me. The worst part is that we're barely communicating. I want to scream every time I think about that hotel receipt, but at the same time, I feel completely numb. Jess says it wasn't a big deal and that I'm overreacting. But how can I not react when it feels like the life I thought we were building is suddenly filled with lies? Since telling her family, things have gotten messier. Her sister called me, trying to mediate, but I couldn't even put my feelings into words. I wasn't looking for mediation. I was looking for understanding, for someone to tell me I wasn't crazy for feeling this devastated. Now her entire family knows, and while some are trying to stay neutral, there's this tension hanging over everything. Jess is furious I aired our dirty laundry, and in hindsight, I realize that maybe I shouldn't have. I regret pulling others into this mess, but I also don't know how to undo the damage that's been done. Jess has been keeping her distance, emotionally and physically. She still swears nothing happened, and maybe, just maybe, that's true. But the fact that she hid it, that she met this guy and lied to my face, that's what I can't shake. Trust is a fragile thing, and right now, ours is shattered. I've been staying with a friend for the last few days to get some space and figure out what I'm feeling. I thought that would help clear my head, but if anything, I just feel more confused. Part of me loves Jess deeply, and the thought of walking away from our marriage hurts more than I can explain. But another part of me wonders if I'll ever be able to trust her again. Every time I look at her now, all I see is that hotel receipt and those texts. It's hard not to feel stupid for not seeing the signs earlier. The secrecy, the defensiveness, it was all right there in front of me, and I ignored it because I wanted to believe we were solid. Now I'm questioning if I ever really knew her at all. I don't know what's next. Divorce feels like a massive decision, but so does staying in a marriage where trust has been broken. I'm talking to a therapist now, trying to figure out my emotions before making any life-changing moves. I still love Jess, and I never thought I'd be in this situation. But love isn't enough to fix something this broken. To everyone who commented on my original post, thank you. Your words help me see that my feelings are valid, even if I didn't handle things perfectly. I've made mistakes too, and I'm owning that. But I can't pretend like everything's okay when it's not. I'm just taking it day by day, trying to figure out what's best for me and for my future, whether that's with Jess or without her. I'll keep you all posted. And now for the comments. Comment 1. I'm sorry you have to go through this. I think you should divorce her. A man and a woman meet at a coffee shop to talk. Adults meet at a hotel to screw. And I think the message from her phone tells you exactly what they have been doing. Stay strong. Comment 2. 100% this. OP, there is zero trust between either of you, and you'd have to be stupid to think someone booked a hotel room to talk when they could have done so at a cafe or bar. Comment 3. Exactly. She knows she cheated and you know it as well. End it, OP, especially for your peace of mind going forward. If you stay, you will suffer from wondering what ifs and such, along with no longer fully trusting this woman. Best to move on and find someone better who deserves you. Comment 4. Totally. She somehow thinks she can deny her way out of this. Sometimes we see regret when caught and hope for remorse, which is the only way forward. She seems to live in la-la land, where cheating is normal. The biggest hurdle I see is that the wife may insist the secret affair she was caught in is no big deal, but obviously to OP, it is a very big deal. Sadly, there is no path forward until wife acknowledges this is a big effing deal. The entire strong reaction and involving her family is an irrelevant distraction. The only thing OP can do is start the divorce proceedings and follow through. This is wife's problem to address, and if she can wake the screw up, maybe she can start trying to convince OP why he should stay. Until she accepts ownership and admits the affair, there really isn't anything left. Maybe the divorce can convince her it's a big deal to OP. And now for the second story posted by NRC 1220. Am I the a-hole for telling my mom why none of her 5 boys have given her grandkids? I'm the youngest of 5 boys. When I was 13, my mom and biological dad split. My oldest brother went to stay with my aunt. The rest of us went to stay with my grandma while our parents tried to find happiness. Dad completely fell off the face of the earth after about 4 years. I think he talks to my oldest brother every so often. My mom got her own place a few miles away from my grandma. She visited often and even spent the night every now and then. So the twins only stayed for like a year, then went and joined the Navy. The brother between the twins and I stayed for 2 years. Then he met a girl who went to college, and they got married. Then there was me. 13 to 18, I lived with my grandma and was almost completely alone for 2 years out in the middle of nowhere. I love my grandma, but there was only so much an 80-year-old woman and a teenage boy could talk about. I felt abandoned. Fast forward, I finished high school and went to college, did the whole shebang. We're all adults now doing our thing. Well, my mom is always like, why won't any of you give me grandchildren? First of all, I'm gay, but she even asks me if I'll find a nice man to settle down and adopt. But my other brothers are straight. None of them have or want kids. So the conversation got intense, and she was being very dramatic. So I said it. I said what was on everyone's mind. Mom, I think none of us want kids because of how you and Dad left us with Grandma because you both deserve to be happy. I'm glad you found your happiness, but I would never do such a thing to a child, especially if I had the means to take care of them. It scares me that I could possibly wake up one day and think differently. that I could wake up and tell my kids to pack their crap. I'm taking you to grandma's where you're going to live from now on, even though your father and I are perfectly capable of taking care of you. She cried a lot. But I couldn't take the "where are my grandkids" conversation anymore. I could not listen to her bring that up one more time. I did feel terrible, and we haven't talked in like 2 weeks. I'm not sure what to think. And now for the comments. Comment 1. Not the a-hole. The truth hurts most when we know we're wrong. There has to be a part of your mom who knows what she did was wrong, and I wouldn't be shocked if she saw grandchildren as her chance at a do-over. I wasn't there for my kids, but I can make up for it by being there for my grandkids. Hence her pestering. Instead, she's now being told that her choices have consequences, and she won't get her do-over because of what she did. She didn't want to parent, so now she won't get to be a grandparent. I'd cry, too, if I'd been such a poor parent, be it due to negligence, abuse, or, as in your mom's case, my absence and refusal to be a parent, caused my kids to be scared to or put off of having children of their own because they're worried that they would repeat my mistakes. There is no delicate way to put that, because a truth like that will always hurt. Who wants to be confronted with the harm they've caused and the damage they've done? You are not wrong for telling her, not least because the only way to stop her pestering and questioning is to tell her why, and you put it as diplomatically as possible. Comment 2. I am astonished that any of her kids talked to her. They had to watch her live her life nearby without them, having her drop in when she felt like as if that was just fine. Comment 3. Same. She literally told them that she deserved to be happy and showed them that her happiness meant not bothering to raise or be there for any of them. I'd have asked why she even wants grandkids given that she couldn't be arsed with her own kids. And if it turned out that I'm right and she wanted to play the doting granny to make up for being a crappy absent mother, I'd point out that it wouldn't be a consolation. Showing up for your grandkids doesn't make up for not being there for your kids. All it does is show that you had the capacity to show up and be there but were too dang selfish to bother the first time around. This isn't one kid she abandoned. She and OP's dad chose to have 5 kids and then just woke up one day, noped out, and left to do their own thing. And not once do they seem to have thought about the impact it would have on their kids. Now she wants to play the doting granny, but who would trust her around their kids? Even if OP or any of his brothers did want kids, I'd never let that woman near them in case she suddenly decided she deserved to achieve happiness via family abandonment again, and decided to disappoint my kids and hurt them the way she hurt and disappointed me. What do you think about these 2 stories? Do you feel for the 2 OPs of these stories? What kind of advice would you give them? Thank you, and have a wonderful day.